What it is, everybody, and thanks for tuning back in here to another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Today we got another episode here, me kind of elaborating and explaining why this build has been taking so long. And this is not me bashing anybody, any name brands or anything like this, because more than anything, that individual and that person helped me out tremendously. Actually, numerous people helped me out tremendously to try and get this thing back up and running. Whether it have been my fault, not my fault. I mean, ultimately, I will say it is my fault because I modded my bike. And if you don't want any problems, leave your shit stock. Don't mod it. It has nothing to do with the ability always of one individual to tune or do something correctly or incorrectly. It worked when you got it, when it was factory. And I bought this brand new, and if I didn't want any problems, don't touch it. And that goes for anything. But that's not the case here in my garage of what I was going to do. I bought this bike with the intention to race it and to do other things with it and drag race it and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. So let me talk a little bit about what's going down and what has gone down here with this bike. And now that the bike is finally tuned and everything is getting up and running, you'll see in the next upcoming video of that actually, you know, coming out with the bike on the dyno and everything like that. It is rideable and everything like that because I haven't ridden it. So when I bought the bike originally, for the people that don't know, that's kind of tuning into it. I bought the bike from Tampa. I drove all the way out to Tampa to get the bike, so it was a 3-hour drive. Went and got the bike, put about 300 miles on it coming home, and pretty much took it apart and put Brock's Predator system exhaust, got the Sprint air filter, some block-offs, levers, you know, kinds of like goody stuff like that. But crazy performance parts, that's pretty much all it got. So it's got intake, exhaust, and that's pretty much it. Now, for the tune, I initially went with Brock's Performance Tune. And their tune will obviously flash it, you know, de-restrict it, you know, so that the throttle blades and everything open up 100% past a certain RPM. And then, of course, his fuel map and his fuel tune. Now, his fuel map and fuel tune was, and de-restriction, I put it on the dyno with a before and after, and it definitely made a difference. So there's no bullshit there to say that because it was mail order, it didn't do this or it didn't do that. No, that's absolutely not the case. It appeared that a lot of his testing was done with a GSXR1000, and mine is the R model. And they apparently come with different ECUs. Whether that's 100% true or not, I don't know. I'm not here again to name bash or do anything like that. So I got the ECU back with his flash and his tune in it. Bike started right up. When I decided to go and give it a little bit of gas, what happened is the bike would sputter really bad. Now, first and foremost, whether you're using Brock for your tune or using Brock for your performance goodies, I talked to Brock personally many times. He also called me personally and reached out to me many times. Their customer service is outstanding, something that is like non-existent in companies today. So I definitely have to say that. He sat with me, not for 2 minutes, like not saying, hey, Robert, what's going on with the bike? Okay, good, get the hell off my phone. No, he wanted details, asked me, and consistently tried to extract information out of me so that he can actually resolve the issue. And it wasn't just a quick resolve the issue to get you hell off and you already have your money so that you don't bash my company. No, absolutely not. That is definitely not the case. He went above and beyond to really try and help me. So I sent him some logs, sent him the videos of what the bike is actually doing. I sent him the ECU back so he could correct it. No problem. Well, let's say something happens, shit happens, people make mistakes, right? I get it back, put it back in the bike. The issue is still not corrected. No problem, whatever. So now we're going back and forth trying to figure out exactly what it is. He said he worked all weekend to try and correct the issue. And keep going. I had some races and stuff coming up planned for this motorcycle. So we send it back again. He tries to correct it. The issue's still there, but it's a little bit better. So at that point, it was just a matter of time. It had nothing to do with Brock not being able to fix the computer and his ability to tune. Absolutely not. I wouldn't doubt that because I've bought many things from Brock's Performance in the past, and everything has been flawless about them. Never had an issue. This is the first issue I've had with any Brock's product. No big deal. Like I said, shit happens. Now, some people want to ask, well, hey, why did you use Brock as your tuner? Well, brand loyalty is what pretty much it. I mean, they make fantastic everything else, and I'm proud to have their name on my exhaust, on my block offs, and other bikes that I've had and sold and raced with. Again, I've never really had an issue. So upon, we're just running out of time, without going crazy into it, I just asked, I said, hey, Brock, do you mind if you just return it back to stock, send me my ECU back with just the stock, stock flash or stock tune, remove, enable everything how it exactly came from Suzuki, to say the least, like if you never touched it. He's like, well, I would like to put a power commander. I would really like to fix it, this, that, whatever. I could send you another ECU. And I said, we can do all of that, and that's fine, but I can't have this bike down anymore. It was just a timing issue because I had a lot of events lined up here with this bike. So long story short, he returned it back to stock, no problem, and did everything that I asked him for. And that really wasn't an issue. So I received the ECU back. I was going to flash it with another flash program. Now, Brock's Performance, they use Flash Tune, and I was going to use Woolwich. No issue or anything there. Now, I asked when he returned it to stock, I said, now I can go flash it back and do anything that I need to do with another software, whether it be Woolwich or ECU or even my own Flash Tune. He said, absolutely yes. No problem. I go to try and flash it with Woolwich. It didn't work because it's still locked and encrypted. So going back and forth, I called Brock's. He didn't really understand or know what the issue was right away. I called Flash Tune. I got their information. And what happens is when Flash Tune gets a hold of these motorcycles and these ECUs, what happens is that they encrypt the ECUs with their code. Now, certain people can obviously remove that. And I'm going to get into when I say certain people. And obviously Flash Tune can remove that. So Flash Tune, I got in contact with Flash Tune, told them what happened with everything with Brock. And they said, yeah, sure, send us your ECU. The only downfall to that is that they said it could take up to 3 months for us to remove it because there's only one person here that can do that, and that's their software engineer. I'm like, well, that's kind of shitty. So I was kind of forced into the neighborhood of buying a new ECU solely because I couldn't write to this ECU that came with the bike. It was just a disaster and a nightmare. Now, some people will say, oh, it's all Brock's fault. He messed up your ECU, this, that. No, he didn't. So I obviously got back on the horn with him and told him exactly what's happened. And he personally reached out to his friend, Don Guhl. Don Guhl with Guhl Motorsports. Got in touch with him. Guhl got in touch with me. We're doing 3-ways in the emails. And they're telling me, hey, we could fix it. I told him the price of a new ECU. A new ECU for this bike was $1,300. Now, I have a friend that works at a motorsports dealer that was doing me a huge favor on using his discount to get it to me for just under $1,000. Now, but after taxes and stuff, you're over $1,000 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But bottom line, it's not like a 08 Busa where they're plentiful, where they're $150 on eBay. No, this bike is still brand new. I think this bike only got 650 miles on it, and that's pretty much it. So Guhl got in touch with me. I explained to him the issue as well, and they said, hey, look, we'd hate for you to reach out and have to buy a new ECU on something that we could fix. I believe those were his words verbatim. He said, send me your ECU, no need to call ahead, and we can remove the licensing and the encryption and everything like that. So I said, hey, what do I have to lose? Because I already ordered my other ECU because I was kind of on a time crunch. And upon placing that order, the next day, Suzuki emails me saying, oh, our ECUs are back ordered. We'll let you know when they come in. I send this ECU to Guhl. What do I have to lose? He does this thing. He sends it back to me in a couple days. I get it back, and I get it flashed through Woolwich, and it takes everything, no problem. So I can't thank them enough. Now, my other ECU came in, believe it or not, the exact same day I got my ECU back here from Guhl. So I was able to cancel that, and they could send that ECU back to Suzuki because it's obviously not needed. But Brock and his team, and even though when I said, hey, I'm pulling back and I don't want to use your stuff, they still went out of their way to help me. So if you're, basically all I'm saying is you may want to rethink some of the brands and people that you buy stuff from, because that is one individual that went completely out of his way to help me. He doesn't know me. He's never met me or anything like that. He doesn't know anything about me. Well, now he knows my face, and he knows that I'm a serious biker. I have plenty of bikes, as he could see if he is watching this video, over there in the corner, even under the covers, and some more over there. But he went out of his way to call his friend to have the license encryptions and everything removed so that I could reuse my ECU. Now, he didn't offer me like anything free. Don't bash me or anything like that. No, I'm doing this to let you guys know that this individual, Brock Davidson, is a hell of a person, and he really does care about his community, and he really does care about his people. And even the other things that offering other things like, hey, when you need something else, come to me, we can help you out, maybe give you some discounts and stuff like that. Whether I buy anything or not, but just that he extended the offer and the gesture, those things just are not really there in the market and in the world now, especially with companies. And he's, maybe not a $500 billion company and have 10,000 employees, but he's got enough, and he's known well in the motorcycle community to make a difference. If he didn't make a difference and he didn't know what the hell he was doing, all his shit wouldn't be on a bunch of motorcycles, whether it's a drag bike, a cruising bike, or whatever it may be. He knows what he's talking about in some of those areas. So definitely, I want to recommend that you guys check him out, and don't sell yourself short. The Brock's Predator exhaust that I actually currently have on this bike, I have nothing but great things to say about it, as any of the other products that I've had, this issue aside from Brock's Performance. So I wanted to give you a heads up. That's what it was. It was always a time thing, really, with this bike, and it was a shitty situation for the both of us, that it was just unfortunate and some mishaps and encryptions and locks and codes. But now that it's all straightened out, I got other stuff and other bikes that I still need some modding, and guess what? They're probably going to get Brock's Performance exhaust, because again, I've used them on hundreds, well, maybe not hundreds, but tens of other bikes that I've had, and again, no issues or anything like that. So this is going to be another part to fill you in exactly why this bike build has actually been taking so long, but now it's complete. And this part is complete, and we are headed off to the dyno to have this thing officially tuned and everything the way that I feel and I would like it to be acceptable. Whether it's all the power in the world or it could have made more somewhere else, I don't give a shit. It's how I do it and how I feel comfortable with it, and it makes me happy, and that's all that matters. So on to the next build series and on to the next episode. That's this one. That's going to wrap up this one. Again, if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. Instagram at the Speedbug, same name here as YouTube, and we will see you on the dyno for another episode here on the Speedbug channel. Deuces.